Uh, welcome in to another episode of the Crypto Dojo Show, where we discuss everything that you should know about the world of crypto. And for today's discussion, I have two things that I want to bring to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. And it's it is amazing to me uh, to be able to witness this transition that we are going through. It's just amazing to see all of the changes and the growth that has occurred in this space over the last few years that I've been in it. And I'm just excited to share this information. So let's just jump right into it. So, first things first. CoinDesk released this article on the 29th entitled "The New York Stock Exchange Would Consider Crypto Trading If Regulatory Picture Were Clearer," President says at Consensus 2024. And if you don't know what Consensus is basically a gathering of all different players in the industry. So you'll have creators, people who are building different blockchains will attend this event. You have people who are investors who will attend this event. You have politicians who attend this event, and it's one of the largest, if not the largest, gathering of crypto enthusiasts in the world, and it happens every year in Austin, Texas. So this article is discussing a conversation that took place at that event. So the New York Stock Exchange President Lynn Martin and Bullish CEO Tom Farley discussed crypto regulations, changing U.S. politics, and the limitations and opportunities of blockchain tech to improve traditional markets. New York Stock Exchange President Lynn Martin is open to offering crypto trading, but the lack of clear regulatory guidance is an obstacle, she says. I don't think, if you don't know, I'm trying to let you know how major, how important, how exciting this is. The New York Stock Exchange president is open to offering crypto trading, but the lack of clear regulatory guidance is an obstacle. So why am I excited about this? Why is this important? When you open the New York Stock Exchange up to cryptocurrencies and digital assets, what you're doing is allowing more capital. You're allowing more money to flow onto these blockchains, to flow onto these networks. Not only that, but people are familiar with the New York Stock Exchange. People are comfortable with that brand. So people who may feel uncomfortable with different platforms, different exchanges that allow you to purchase cryptocurrencies, if they're not comfortable with these exchanges that are new, they'd be comfortable with the New York Stock Exchange. So you're opening up the market to a different investor. And that is a large market. So if you're a person who has been accumulating different digital assets, different tokens, XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XDC, Chainlink, Algorand, Polkadot. If you're a person who has been accumulating at low prices, if the New York Stock Exchange was to allow crypto trading, it's going to cause, again, more money to flow into these networks, which will cause the value of those different digital assets and tokens to rise. We've never been in any type of we've never had this before. We've never been in this type of position to capitalize on a technology like this. So U.S. regulatory environment will improve in the next couple of years regardless of the election outcome. Tom Farley, the CEO of Bullish and Martin's predecessor at the New York Stock Exchange, predicted. So you have the president and the former president of the New York Stock Exchange in Austin, Texas, at Consensus 2024, speaking about digital assets and cryptocurrencies being traded on the New York Stock Exchange, and the only reason that they're not is because of a lack of clarity. The New York Stock Exchange would consider offering cryptocurrency trading if the regulatory status of such an expansion by the stock market giant was clearer, the company's president said. If there was clear, this is a quote, if there was clear regulatory guidance in the U.S., it would be an opportunity to look at, Lynn Martin said Wednesday during a panel discussion at Consensus 2024 in Austin, Texas. U.S. listed spot Bitcoin, BTC exchange traded funds amassing $58 billion of assets is a strong sign that there's demand for regulated crypto products, she added. While traditional financial markets and digital assets are increasingly getting more intertwined with more traditional financial heavyweights offering crypto products, the lack of regulatory clarity is still weighing on the industry, slowing innovation. Martin and Tom Farley, CEO of crypto exchange Bullish. So I didn't know that's what. So Bullish is an exchange as well. So Tom Farley, the former president of the New York Stock Exchange, is now the CEO of Bullish, which is a crypto exchange. Discussed during the panel discussion. The fact that you've seen 58 billion or so come to the ETFs, the exchange traded funds, has been a strong sign that the market is looking for regulation in traditional structures, Martin said. So hopefully the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission saw the inflows and said, hey, this makes a lot of sense, considering Bitcoin ETFs have been a tremendous success. New York Stock Exchange U.S.-based rival, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a giant in regulated crypto futures trading, is planning to launch spot crypto trading to clients, the Financial Times reported earlier this month. So boom. The CME is already looking at spot crypto trading. Come on, guys, gals, ladies and gents. We have to pay attention to what's going on. We do not want to miss out on this opportunity. Or you shouldn't want to miss out on the opportunity. I'm not going to miss out on the opportunity. I'm tapped all the way in. You see, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm looking at it. I'm researching it. I'm trying to understand it. I don't know if this will ever happen again in my lifetime, this type of opportunity. But in order to capitalize on the opportunity, it does require diligence. Due diligence. It requires that, we take a step back and observe what's going on. And this the rabbit hole was deep for me. The rabbit hole was deep, but it's worth it's worth investigating. It's worth investigating. Uh, where was I at? Farley highlighted the sudden change of heart towards crypto in U.S. politics, including the ousting of the anti-crypto chair of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp, the passage of the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act bill in the House, and Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump doubling down supporting crypto in a rapid chain of events. A rapid chain of events. And I've talked about each of these. I've discussed Fit 21. I've shown you Trump saying or speaking on his thoughts about cryptocurrencies. And it wasn't that long ago when he was on the other side of the fence. But this is a technology that we have to embrace. The rest of the world is embracing this technology because it has powerful use cases. It has powerful use cases, especially for the financial industry. 5 years of evolution happened in 5 minutes, he said. I'm really optimistic about what it means in this country. I think just like in Europe, just like in Hong Kong, you're going to have regulators codified. Hey, what's your reasonable digital assets industry look like? You're going to see progression in 2024, which we have seen. Just in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we have all of this movement in the space. Not really price action in terms of assets increase, value shooting up like we saw a couple years ago, 2020, 2021. Like, it's not that. The bull market isn't just, it hadn't really taken off. But what we're seeing, that's more technical analysis. What we're seeing is a lot of fundamental analysis. We're seeing a lot of growth from the fundamental standpoint. Fundamental being the news, things that are physically happening that are causing the space to move forward. Excuse me, hold on. So 5 years of evolution happened in 5 minutes. And we're gonna see progression in 2024 and 2025. So what they're doing is laying all of the groundwork, getting all the legalities out the way, so that when this next bull run comes, oh man, the money is going to flow into the space and it is going to be legitimized. It's going to be all legal. There's going to be a framework that through legislation, everybody in the space who wants to build, who wants to create, they're going to feel comfortable with doing so, because they're not going to feel like they're breaking the law, or they're not going to feel like, one of these government agencies are going to be at their neck trying to get a check. You see what I'm saying? So irrespective of whether or not it's Trump, Biden, or Michelle Obama, Martin said she continues to be optimistic about using blockchain technology. It's technology to make financial processes more efficient and transparent. What blockchains are they going to use? That's the question. Especially for less liquid assets such as municipal bonds. However, Farley said traditional real-world assets won't migrate to digital asset rails en masse, giving regulators distrust towards public blockchain plumbing. Regulate that, so that means regulators do not trust like the public. So when it comes to blockchains, I don't want to get too technical, but when it comes to blockchains, you got public blockchains, you got private blockchains. the government isn't, or regulators, let me not misquote, regulators distrust public blockchains plumbing, how they're set up, how they're built, their infrastructure. So regulators want to get their power hungry, sticky little fingers on everything, he said. How do you get your fingers on Solana? How do you get your fingers onto something that's decentralized? You can't. That's a public blockchain. So they're saying that for the public blockchains, they feel some type of way about them, but really it's because they can't have control over it. So they want private blockchains. Hence, regulators would likely push TradeFi, traditional financial firms, towards developing private blockchains, which that's what JP Morgan did. They created their own blockchain instead of using the existing blockchains for settlement, he said. Which in reality, I don't know if that's such a bad thing, because I don't know if you want people's like a bank shouldn't be showing people's personal transactions publicly. So in a way, I don't think that's just all bad. I would prefer, like, if I had my money in the bank, I wouldn't want those transactions to be shown on the public blockchain. So, that's how I feel about that one. So, hey, it's going down in consensus. I'm going next year. So that's the first, jewel that I wanted to drop on you. And then here's the second one. Just a little quick video, and then I'm going to let you go.
Do you have, during your tenure as the chair of the Financial Services Committee, been an advocate for crypto-related legislation, successfully earlier this month passing the FIT 21 Act, which of course is the market structure bill, delineates authority between the CFTC and the SEC. It passed by a wide bipartisan majority in the House. What, though, are you hearing from your counterparts in the Senate about its fate in the other chamber?
Well, the first thing I've heard from my Senate...
That's a good question. She wants to know, after everything that y'all did in the House, y'all got it passed and all of that look good, but what does it look like going forward? Is it going to pass the Senate? That's her question.
My colleagues on the Democrat and Republican side was they were shocked at the wide margin that we...
Its fate in the other chamber.
Well, the first thing I've heard from my Senate colleagues on the Democrat and Republican side was they were shocked at the wide margin that we passed this bill in the House. FIT 21 is a legal structure for the trading and ownership of digital assets. It gives
This is what we were just talking about in the article. The New York Stock Exchange, the president is saying, they're not really comfortable because there isn't regulatory clarity. There isn't rules and guidelines, things of that nature. So without that, they would prefer to stay on the sideline. Once we have that, they're interested in offering crypto trading services to their clients.
Regulatory form is something that currently has no regulatory form. It provides consumer protection and the ability to get investment capital flowing towards innovation. It's the first of its kind legislation here in the United States. So for us to pass that important bill, FIT 21, with a 2/3 vote of the House of Representatives in these divided times, it is a major statement. With 71 of my Democrat colleagues voting with Republicans, it is a major statement that we're here to make serious policy, and we want to have a regulated form of digital assets and cryptocurrency here in the United States.
So he basically saying, hey, the way we had so many Republicans as well as Democrats vote for this, you had individuals on both sides vote for this. That sends a strong message to the Senate that this is extremely important, that you all should really take the time to consider what is going on. We argue and bicker back and forth about a lot of different things. But this thing here, we all can agree on. And we need to move forward. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that, hey, we showing up. We done got it through. Now, what y'all gonna do?
With that said, Mr. Chairman, we spent some time with Congressman French Hill here on Friday, who implied that the momentum that was gathered in the House in passing FIT 21 with a wider margin, to your point, than many predicted, was maybe in itself enough to unlock more votes in the Senate. Are you in touch with Chuck Schumer? Do you have a sense of whether this can, in fact, clear the other chamber?
Well, the Senate is in recess this week, so when we get back next week, I'll have greater clarity on that. But the first statement we wanted to have was that, number one, we have serious policy. The second piece of that is a wide vote total. So we have serious policy with a wide vote total. French Hill, being the leading architect of our work in the Financial Services Committee on this important bill, he stated clearly what I believe, which is the momentum is built off that vote total. And the Senate should take this should be a wake-up call for the Senate that they need to get on with this. They need to stay focused on getting policy here and get it done before the election. I think that's a clear statement of this wide vote in the House of Representatives.
That's a major key. That's a major key. He just gave a timeline. We want to have this done before the election. We want to have this done before the election. So we're looking at FIT 21. We're looking at a framework for the digital asset space. We're looking at stable coins. They're also working on stable coins, which is a aspect of the digital asset space. We want to get it done before people try to get a new president in. We want to get it done. That's a good timeline. It's good to know the timeline.
Well, it wasn't that far long ago, Congressman, that the conversation we were having about policy related to crypto that may be able to work its way through the Senate was stablecoin legislation that potentially it could be tied together with other priorities for some, like the Safe Banking Act, which of course would provide marijuana companies access to the U.S. banking system. Where is progress on that in the House? What is the tenor of your conversations in that regard with Maxine Waters right now?
Well, I'm not in favor of the cannabis banking legislation that's been put forth. I voted against it the last two Congresses. It's not a priority for me to move that legislation. But stablecoin legislation is a priority, and I've been negotiating with the ranking member.
That's another key. Stablecoin is a priority. Stablecoins are a priority.
Maxine Waters on stablecoin policy for the last 23 months. And we want to be able to move policy, but unless we can get a Senate vehicle for the move stablecoins, there is no closing date for our negotiations. We need a closing date, we need a vehicle, and we need an opportunity to get that enacted into law. Unfortunately, the Senate and the Senate schedule is the focus of that bill.
I also want to make you aware that if you look over here, they now show like XRP, and they've been doing this for a while. I say, maybe like in 2022, maybe even the beginning of 2023 is when they started showing cryptocurrencies on like Bloomberg, on the tickers. They didn't always show these tickers. This is a sign of adoption, just like little things. It's a little thing. It's small. It's small. People might not even notice it. But the fact that they are showing the tickers should let you know something. That's a sign. And they haven't been doing this for a long time. Bloomberg has a segment called Bloomberg Crypto now. They didn't always have that. Now they have a dedicated slot time where all they do is discuss cryptocurrency. They bring different people from the space, whether it's like the CEO of Circle or the CEO of Coinbase or just different people. They bring them on and have conversation with them, and they just talk about the market. Just had to throw that in there.
We hope that this market, I hope that this market structure bill that we passed, though Maxine Waters didn't support it, that 71 Democrats voting with Republicans is a major statement. We can move that, and hopefully we can get stable coins prioritized as well.
Is there another vehicle in the rest of this Congress, Mr. Chairman? Is it possible that stablecoin could move as a standalone bill, or you need a bigger vehicle to get this across the finish line?
Well, I actually think we need a bigger vehicle. What we have not seen in the Senate is for them to take a standalone financial services or financial services bill across the Senate floor since Senate Bill 2155. What we need here is the majority leader in the Senate to prioritize this policy, either market structure or stable coins, to get it through the Senate. And until that time, we're just going to create the atmosphere and the pressure in the best way we can to get them to prioritize this and put it on the calendar.
Well, of course, the clock is ticking as this is an election year, Mr. Chairman, and it's a year in which you are not seeking re-election yourself, as you will be retiring at the end of your term. Other than this crypto legislation, which, of course, we've spoken at length about and know you have been advocating for so strongly, what else would you like to see accomplished before your time in the House ends?
Well, my three priorities for my chairmanship of the House Financial Services Committee have been and remain data privacy, to ensure that people's financial data is protected in a world-class way. And that means we have to update existing laws that were created before the advent of the consumer internet. That's number one. Number two, capital formation. We have a package of bills led by Congresswoman Annie Wagner that have moved through the House of Representatives. Much of those bills have been bipartisan. And I want the Senate to prioritize capital formation. Third and finally is crypto. And there are two components to that. The market structure bill that we passed with wide support, and the stablecoin legislation that we mentioned before. So that's my package. That's what I'm focused on for financial policy. Last year got a little complicated for us to move those bills through the House because of my involvement in negotiating the debt ceiling. And then what happened in the fall of last year with the motion to vacate and me serving as Speaker Pro Tem for a period of time. So the House and the calendar got kind of complicated last year, unfortunately. And so this has tipped over to an election year where it's much more difficult to get policymakers to actually be policymakers and focus on policy, not politics.
All right. Well, Congressman, I want to return to what you were just speaking about a few moments ago, the idea that it has been a little bit hard to actually get the work of Paul.
And man. I don't know. I mean, it is an exciting time. It's an exciting time, and to be a part of this space, to watch it grow. I'm solidifying my positions. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm solidifying my positions because once this legislation gets passed, once these large institutions start getting involved, they are going to bring a lot of capital into the market. And when I say market, what I'm saying is, let me pull this up. CoinGecko. They're gonna bring. I do not like that background. they are going to, when I say they're going to bring value, they're going to bring capital, they're going to bring money to the market. The current market cap is 2.663 trillion in digital assets, cryptocurrencies. The current market cap is 2.663 trillion. Of course, Bitcoin has most of that market cap, but once these large institutions start putting capitals onto these networks, these blockchains, they're going to go to certain projects. And when those projects market caps start increasing, the value of the token is going to increase. So again, I'm solidifying my position. So whenever this transition, well, I mean, we are in the transition now, but you know, as more capital starts coming in, I'm locked in at these low numbers. So, you know, man, what a time to be alive. I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer. But I would like, you know, if you feel this information is beneficial for you, if you feel like this information is interesting, if you feel like this information is informative, if you feel like you're learning, being exposed to something you may not have been exposed to before, and you are appreciative, please like and subscribe and share with a friend, because I do believe it is important that, you know, we share this information to as many people as we can before this thing really takes off, so that everybody has the opportunity to capitalize. So here in the dojo, we just make sure that we give you the info so that you know how to maneuver in the space, so that you know how to have informed conversations about what's going on. And, you know, I appreciate you for tuning in to the Crypto Dojo Show, where we discuss everything you should know about the world of crypto.